The second block of the panel is completely devoted to various techniques of frequency separation, as well as to methods of fast retouching. It should be noted that Ultimate Retouch automatically determines the bitrate of the photo. So you do not need to enter this option manually, which is very convenient. In this part of the second block you can choose one of the usual and more convenient ways of frequency separation for you. I want to note that despite the presence of 4 buttons, there are 7 variants of frequency separation, using different filters of Photoshop or third-party manufacturers. On the buttons where the slash is specified in the name, you can use the second variant of the frequency separation using the Shift key. Press the Shift and press the button on the panel. So you get a frequency separation using a filter that stands after the slash in the name of the button. Each block of panel also has different Shift key modifiers. After learning the functional panel and growing your skill, these helper functions can be useful to you. You can always find a list of all the commands in the 7th block by clicking the corresponding button. Let's try the most common method, using a Gaussian blur filter. At this stage, the panel prompts us to select the blur radius value. It should be understood that there are no clear prescriptions in this matter. With experience you will learn how to choose the radius value intuitively. However, there are general recommendations. The larger the portrait, the greater the value of the radius is to be set. And vice versa. You see that the image is divided into 2 components, the lower frequency, which carries information about color and volume, and the upper frequency, which is a texture. You can notice that the layers with the lower frequency and texture are duplicated. This is made for your convenience. Retouch should be made on duplicate layers. This will preserve the original layer untouched and will make it possible at any time to correct the mistakes. To the layer with the texture is attached a layer reinforcing the texture. This layer gives you the opportunity to examine in more detail not very noticeable skin imperfections and correct them. The volume button only shows a layer with a lower frequency. The texture button only shows the texture layer. And 2 buttons that enable and disable the layer with texture enhancement. On the lower frequency we use a tool, a mixer brush. At the upper frequency we use a stamp with hard edges. Please note that you must tick the aligned parameter. Clamp the Alt, click on the skin area that you want to use for transplantation. And then drive a stamp in the place where it is necessary to remove the lack of skin. Additional options. Selection tool for frequency separation through the upper frequency. Create pores of the skin to improve the lower frequency. Automatic merge of all working layers of frequency separation. Please do not forget that these buttons also have secondary functions. Information about them you can see in the 7 block of the panel. Complex method of frequency separation. Do not worry, this is an intro video. More detailed instructions will be shown in the following tutorial videos.